I'll just start off first and say that, disappointing. There's no question about that, but we're going to talk about some of the positives. I think we played an extremely good football team. I told you that before the game. In my opinion, top 25 football team. Got a lot of guys back offensively. They're big. They're strong. They're fast. And I think they're a mature football team. So you got to give some credit to the teams you play against, and I definitely give credit to the Washington Huskies because I think they're a darn good football team. On our behalf, again, when you go into an environment like that, I think it's very, very important that you start off and play, and we definitely didn't do that. Too many mistakes that created, points for them. Too many penalties, especially early in the game. We could not get in sync. I think after the first series defensively, we started making some improvement, but the quick strike that next series, got us down quickly. And offensively, when you turn the football over for 2 touchdowns, you're not going to be successful. That's the way football is. So we went in at halftime. We talked as a coaching staff. We talked as a team. We said this is what we got to do. The players came out, performed it. I know it wasn't the same type of game. But, if you look at that second half, and I'm going to end on positives, we won. We won 7-6. Now, I know it wasn't the same game. I'm very well aware of that. But we asked our kids to go out there and continue to play and continue to fight and continue to do what they needed to do to get ourselves better. And I think we started making some progress, offensively and consistency. But we're not to where we need to be at when you're playing a top 25 football team, in my opinion. So we used yesterday as a big day for us as a staff to evaluate this first quarter of football. Like y'all know, we break things up into 4 quarters, and the first 3 games are done. First, we're 2-1. I mean, a lot of teams aren't 2-1, and we are. So we're happy to say that, yeah, we can make definite strides in everything we got to do, but we've got 2 W's and we've got 1 L. So we're heading, at least moving in that direction we want to go now. We've got to do that for 3 more quarters, and if you can do your math, which I'm sure everybody in here can, I think that's 8 wins if we can continue to do each quarter what we've been doing in the win column. Second thing is, as we looked at it, second half statistics are unbelievable for us. I mean, we've scored 49 points, they've scored 24 in the opponents that we've played. Offensively, we've moved the football. Defensively, we've stopped people. It comes down to what are you doing in the first half, and we're not being successful in the first half. We've given up too many points, and we've not scored enough points. I think as you look at the positive things, again, our third down progress until this last football game has been good. But, again, you've got to be able to move the chains. We weren't able to do that offensively this last week. Just too much inconsistency. And then the third thing that we're talking to this football team is about our red zone. We are scoring touchdowns in the red zone offensively. If you look at the numbers that we've scored touchdown-wise in the red zone, it'd be one of the tops in the conference. Defensively, we're up there also because we've stopped them. They're 6 out of 12, 6 touchdowns with 12 opportunities. So we're making our strides in the red zone to get this team better, to head in the next direction. So we'll meet with our football team today. We'll talk about those goals that we set and what we need to improve on. Last thing I'll share is the improvement on turnovers and takeaways. We have not made the strides we need to. We've fumbled the ball 5 times, and that's not anything of what we want or care to do in this football team. Yes, we've thrown 1 interception, and it ended up being a touchdown. But there's been 3 turnovers that have cost this football team 21 points, and you cannot be successful doing that. Defensively wise, we haven't taken the ball away enough, And again, those are things that we talk about continually in this football team. They're practiced every day, and we just got to try to create a habit for this football team and securing the football and taking it away. Last thing is special teams. As we go down through the special teams, 3 of our special teams have met the goals that we asked them to do this first quarter. Our punt, our punt return, and our kickoff return are all been where we wanted it to be at this point in the football season. Now we got to keep on making strides, but we're where we're at. Our kickoff coverage, mainly due to kicking the ball out of bounds and not covering as well as we could have this last week, is down. It's below the standards that we set. So, and that and field goal being one for 3. Those are not where we need to be at, and those will be addressed today as a football team, and we'll try to make strides with them.
What do you need to do to get the first half to match that?
Well, again, we've got to keep stressing to these players to come out and, to perform, do the things that are necessary to keep the sticks moving or to stop people. I think if you look at the stats offensively, that's where we struggled a little bit. Is it the maturity of our wide receivers, being a younger group? I don't know. I mean, we're going to continue to do what we do to try to get it corrected. Defensively, we've been on the field a lot in the first half, but I do think that we're playing better than we were at this time last year on defense.
How's Pat?
I'll comment on that on Thursday.
Where's your level of confidence in the kicking game, and how will that affect how you coach the decisions that you make?
Wow. Well, first, the punt. I mean, right now, Justin Dubois this last week was phenomenal. I haven't seen a punter do some of the things that he was doing. So, again, we went to a different type of punt, as you saw in that football game, and you noticed it was something that he was kind of showcasing in practice, and we saw how successful he was being in practice. So we went to that type of punt, and he's been outstanding. There's no question in the way that we've been kicking field goals. There'll be a heck of a competition this week again. Taylor won it last week, but David Reiser's right there too, and we'll make that decision on Thursday. There's still too many questions when we stick Taylor out there on if that ball's going to go straight through those uprights. And if that's the case, and we're not as comfortable with it, then we're going to have to go for to keep the ball moving.
How much of it do you base on what's happening in practice versus how he's performing?
Well, our practice field goals are live, so we try to make them just like a game type situation. So the defense is coming our ones against ones. So I mean, we're going to try to put as much pressure on them as we can, and of course we base all the things off of practice. We try to put him also in situations during practice where it's a 2-minute situation. He's got to make the field goal to win the football game. All of a sudden we blow a whistle and put the ball down and we say, hey, you got to kick this field goal right now. So he's not always prepared for when we're going to kick.
Is there a significant difference between what you see with him in practice?
Yeah, that's the biggest thing with him, because I've seen him do it. His consistency's off. He just needs to focus. He's got the capabilities to be as good as there is in the country, in my opinion. But he's got to hone in on his skills and get better at doing his skills.
Tim, without Pat, you've got Gibbon and Michael over the right tackle. Obviously, he didn't have a great week. Are you planning on shaking anything up there on the offensive line after just one bad week, or is it kind of?
Yeah, again, I think they had a lot to do with that. They're pretty good up front. And Michael was kind of put on an island, more one-on-one situations than he's normally used to, especially as a guard. And, I think other than, the couple of plays that you really saw, he didn't perform up to grading out standards, but he did perform other than a couple plays. But that's the game of football.
Who did grade out?
Nobody on offense, and then defensively, Darius Mosley was in for 32 plays, and then the other two that graded out for us were DJ Smoot and Finney.
One of the things you talked about over the last couple of years is wanting to see some of those deep strikes. What did Gmo do on Saturday as you watched the film, and how much obviously you made? you have with this offense?
Well, again, he made some outstanding catches. I mean, that one was a big timer. And he is becoming more of a guy, as the guy, deep guy for us as it goes. And we all have to remember that was only his third college football game. So, I think that his game will get better and better, as I do Mikey and Malik and some of those other younger guys that are playing. So he is a deep threat for us now, and he's got to continue to keep on doing that because we have to be able to take some strikes downfield.
You said that Allison evidently didn't grade out after he caught 160 yards of passes. Makes you think maybe.
Didn't block well.
Okay.
It's not just about catching balls. It's about playing every play. And we've got to block better, and we've got to make sure that we're running precise routes. It's not just about productivity. It's about, making sure that you're taking care of each one of
Part of
the
the
passes.
problem with the running game is that we're not getting the downfield blocking from the wide outs.
I think it's just in general, it's, our backs at times aren't hitting the hole where it's at. I think it's the offensive line not sustaining their blocks, and then downfield. This is a team game. It's not somebody you can just point a finger at. We've got to be able to run the football. We all know that. And we will be working and working and working to get that better.
How would you assess Jihad Ward through the first 3 games? Awesome.
I mean, he has set the point for us to the field, which I think is very important. As I watch him play, there's things he's got to do better. He might, again, it's only his third start in college football, so he might be stepping wrong or he might misplay a gap. But his being able to control the field side truck game or stretch game that they were trying to hit us, Jihad Ward, he's done a great job of being a presence out there to the field. And you know how much problem we had with that last year, with that type of run. He's been a great presence for us.
You talked after the game about kind of putting it in perspective, and you talked about that this morning too, just for 2-1. But do you see the team responding in the way you want them to?
Oh, no question. I mean, the first thing we did is as we were checking in through the gate, as I stood there, as they were getting checked by security, I was the first one to get through, and I just stood there and I asked each one of them as they came down that aisle, what was the score in the second half? What was the score in the second half? What was the score in the second half? To show them that, we have to play 4 quarters, there's no question about it, but we did come out of the locker room and play the way we can play. So, not everybody did realize that we won 7-6 in that second half, but I would say a majority of our players realized that we did make strides, and they realized that you take 21 points off that scoreboard, that's a long touchdown pass, and then the two turnovers, and it's a 23-19 football game. When you're playing the likes of a top 25 football team, which is what you do in the Big Ten, then you cannot make those mistakes, and we have got to be able to not make those mistakes.